Hello, hello. Welcome to Talk Football Live. Hope you guys are doing great today. Today we don't have Biodu and Ayo with us, but we have Ola Lobzy, popular face, and we have Odogwu, who is new to the viewers. How you guys doing today?
Good, good, good. I'm great. I've missed the
Good.
faces. So
Ola, are you wearing a PSG jersey?
sometimes you gotta feel the French
Dembele.
swag. Yeah,
Traitor!
yeah,
A whole Liverpool fan wearing a PSG jersey.
yeah.
That's.
Sometimes, yeah. Big ups to their keeper. So it did proud. It did
So I guess
proud.
you're
Yes.
rooting against Arsenal there.
It's the love
Not
for the
really.
game.
Is it
No,
love
not
for,
really.
or is it hate for Arsenal? It's one or the other.
I was proud of us now today, so that's
So
one.
hey, they did good. But anyways, so viewers, as usual, we always say, like, share, subscribe, do everything you gotta do to keep watching and seeing our videos. Hit the subscribe button as usual. Today we are talking about EPL Game Week 33. Predictions for EPL Game Week 33. I'm glad to have you guys here with us. So we're gonna just jump right into it. It's been very, very interesting, but this week is actually there are a couple of double game weeks. I think about three teams or so have double games, so it's going to be quite interesting to see, how you guys predict. So basically, what I'm trying to say, we're going to be repeating some teams. We're going to be repeating some teams twice. We have the list of teams. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, perfect. So we're going to start with you, Ola. Game week 33, Brentford, Brighton. First game of the weekend. Just let me know who you think is going to win. Let me know if you think it's going to be a draw. And you can just quickly tell us why you think the result will be what you decide.
So technically, we are grinding down to the last 5 games of the season for most teams, and you
Yes.
can tell that in certain situations, there are certain teams that are vying for Champions League next year, and you
Mm-hmm.
can see their strength. They have been over time been showing up. They're showing up in terms of winning games, massive defense. Even teams that we expect, okay, towards the end of the season will be smooth. It became shaky.
Mm-hmm.
But in this game, Brentford versus Brighton, I would pick Brighton to win, even though of recent Brentford has been actually shaky.
Yeah.
Clivert was their superstar, but it's not all the time that the superstar makes it. And in those situations where the superstars don't make it, like I said, you can't
Wait,
build a
who
team
did you say
around a
first
player.
half?
Clivert.
Clivert is for Bournemouth.
Oh, Bournemouth. Sorry.
You're putting
Brentford is
Brentford, Brighton.
Isa.
the ball. Isa. Yeah, I want to
Isa,
say
yeah.
Isa. Yeah. So you can't always expect that they show up all the time because they're getting fatigued. They are play to their strength. They play so much, but Brighton seem to be the one I'm peeping here. Like, okay,
Okay.
they
All
played
right.
well. I'll say 2-1. My prediction.
Okay. 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 for Brighton. Interesting. Donald, do you agree with that?
Mm,
You are gonna
uh,
you are gonna talk about
it's
Palace
you know
Bournemouth. I just don't know if you agree or you
it,
disagree.
it's to me. Honestly, I do agree. Actually, yeah. Although I want to see something different, but yeah,
Why? You want Brentford to win?
yeah. I'm just I root for Isa, so we want
We
Brentford
okay.
to win. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Gotcha.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah, Odogwu. So tell us, Crystal Palace Bournemouth. Who you got?
mm,
I don't know if
mm.
Kluivert is still injured, as Ola highlighted, but I think recently Evan Nielsen has been doing good in replacement of Kluivert. So I don't know what you think, Gunnar or Odogwu. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think Clivet has been he's been a constant over there at Bournemouth, and I think on the Palace side, they're an interesting team. They would always bring the football to you,
Mhm.
and with Bournemouth, I think it's gonna be an interesting game. I know. Oddly, I'm expecting to see a draw in this one, 1-1. Yeah.
1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Sounds like a very, very possible scoreline. But of course, it can always go either way. All right, Everton, Man City. I would take that. Everton, Man City. Everton, I don't know if Everton is even fighting for anything right now. They've escaped relegation since Moyes took over. But Man City are fighting for something. They really, really want to get back into the Champions League. So I'm gonna give this to Man City. I'm not even sure Everton will sniff the goalpost. But recently, also Man City's defense has not been the best, so it's very possible that they still consider 1 or 2 goals. But I'm giving this to a Man City win. The past couple of games, their attack, even without Haaland, has been ridiculous. So I definitely think Man City can take this. Does anyone think otherwise?
No, I no doubt Man City is going to win this. Even with Haaland, who I would call a one-season wonder, has not been performing.
I forgot to mention to you, Donald is a Man City fan.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, people should, like I mentioned, people will recognize that Haaland is still a one
You
season
can't call
wonder.
him a 1 season wonder.
He is, you know.
He's one of the top goal scorers in the league right now.
He's not.
He's one
As far as Salah is five
Okay,
goals ahead of him.
That's a very Liverpool fan statement.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as Salah is 5 goals ahead of him.
I said he's one of the top goal scorers. I didn't say the top.
You have to be the top, not one of.
All right, moving on.
Like saying, one of the top 4 teams.
You can't call it
when somebody is winning the league. When your mate is winning the league, yeah.
All right, we'll move on. West Ham, Southampton. This one is an easy one, but I'll give it to Ola to call.
Yeah, West Ham winning this any day, any time. You know, Southampton is out of the league already. At this point, whatever they're doing is child's play, and they too already recognize it that they're not staying in the Premier League. I'm not sure if they'll be back in the Premier League in the next 2 years, and I can say that it doesn't seem like they were in this season at all. You know, this is the worst performance of any Premier League team I've seen in the last 20 years. This is the worst performance. Anyways, any team is losing to Southampton towards the end of the season, they really need to sack the coach, you know, by all means.
Okay.
Well said. Well said.
Okay.
I think they were the first to confirm relegation, right?
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
The earliest ever in the last 20 years, actually.
I don't think there was any time, I may be wrong. I don't think there's any time throughout the season that Southampton was not in the bottom 3. Yeah, I don't think so. But
case closed.
Yeah, they've only had 10 points throughout the season.
It's bad that is. I think it's the worst record in
worst
in
record
ages,
a team would ever have. And like I said, in the last 20 years.
Yes.
So I guess enough about them. If they're that bad, let's skip them. West Ham win. We all agree. Aston Villa, Newcastle. Odogwu, this is you.
You know,
this is a tough one to call, but
yeah. So when you look at this game, it may be interesting, and my view may differ here. But so you look at these guys; they're both looking to finish at a premium spot.
Yep.
If you ask me, between 4 to 8, all of them are fighting for the same thing mathematically or thereabouts.
It's between 3rd to 8th.
Good. I like that correction.
Newcastle is down 3rd as of today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you now look at that statistic, right? These two teams are, if you ask me, are remarkable teams of the Premier League. Normally, the way I've seen Newcastle play with the muscle and all the options they just even have. Sometimes I have a tendency to give it to them, but I'm having a soft spot for Villa and just seeing how they've been coming up in recent times. And I would just like to just go for a draw here. Just, it's the last few games of the season. I want to see a good game, a 2-2 draw.
Okay. I want that also because, we are chasing them. But all I go ahead, you have something to say?
I think I know Aston Villa would want to win this game after having tasted how it looks like playing in the Champions League.
No, man.
Oh, yeah.
You can't tell that from the way they play PSG this last Tuesday. It was a Tuesday,
Yeah.
yeah. This Tuesday,
Yeah.
and the hope that they had, like, okay, I think we really, if we do this again, we are going to definitely win a team
Hope they
as
don't
big
get
as this.
fatigued.
Which I understand. Yeah, they can get fatigued, but the game against Newcastle is most likely one of their toughest games
Yeah.
towards the end of the season. So they would most likely want to win that because now they are going to play Man City next.
But yeah.
Yeah, they do have some tough games coming up. But yeah, so you think a draw is gonna be the
No, a win for Aston Villa. I know
Barcelona?
Newcastle. He chose Newcastle, but I win for Aston Villa,
Okay.
and they are home also.
Yeah. All right. That was a good one. Moving on. Fulham Chelsea. Normally I would take this one, but I'm gonna give it to you, Odogwu. Fulham Chelsea. What do you think?
Oh, is that a Sunday game?
Yes, 9 a.m.
Yes.
Sunday,
Okay.
9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Normally, if all things are being equal, I'd like to give it to Chelsea. I'll tell you
Hopefully,
why.
I'm equal.
When you look at it, on a normal standard, normal London game, I see Chelsea being able to clinch this. But here's the caveat: you're looking at a Chelsea that has an Achilles heel when they display in the first half, even sometimes with 1, 2 goals. They can still upset themselves or find themselves in a situation where they have to catch up to make it 2-2 or thereabout. Now, you have a Fulham that has their usual Iwobi that will bring their kryptonite and do what they do. So I'll just lay it blank. I'm giving it to Chelsea, but I hope Chelsea watches out. If Chelsea messes up and lets Iwobi does what he does, then we're looking at a sad draw. But Chelsea is my priority, and that's where I'm going.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that. I hope I don't regret asking this question, but Ola, what do you think?
Um, a fair game. Fulham is playing at home.
So,
Chelsea
they are literally like,
understands.
Fulham Stadium is like a mile away or 2 miles away from Chelsea Stadium. We are
Yeah,
neighbors.
I know. Yeah, the
So
same
whichever
city.
one, we
The
are
same
at
city.
home.
London boys.
Yeah,
We are
it's the
both at
same
home. We are
city.
playing against each other.
Exactly. And Chelsea played Fulham earlier this season.
Yep.
While leading, lost towards the end of the game. They have played them. They know how to play, right? So when they are playing a team that they've played before, they are not most likely going to make the same mistake because they understand we learn through our mistakes. Except if they are stupid and knowing fully well that if you lose a game to Fulham, you're not making Champions League. You still want to make Champions League. So every
I mean,
game
they knew that
counts.
against Ipswich, and we saw what happened.
Exactly. So knowing fully well that could happen, they played Ipswich, was losing, then found a way to win the game. They most likely want to win Fulham. Having known that Fulham won Liverpool by luck the other day. So,
Well, against Ipswich, Chelsea did not win. Chelsea drew, and that was very, very.
actually, it was a 2-2 draw. So,
Yeah. Let me just ask a quick question on this whole Chelsea matter. What do you guys think is Chelsea's issue? Because there've been a lot of one step forward, 2 steps backward this season. What do you guys think is the real
the
issue?
team is still developing.
We've been saying that for 3 years, though. How long? How long
You
is
change your
development?
coach also. Your coach last season is not the same this season.
So the team is developing, the coach is developing.
No, the coach is developing the team.
So
Not from the Premier League. If in Europe they are good, they are good. They are playing, they are winning their games, right?
that's baby Europe.
And we
I
don't
just
care
think
if it's baby. Remember, it's whether it's
I'll give
small
a different
euro.
perspective once Ola is done. Yeah.
okay.
Exactly. So whether it's small euros, big euro, middle euro, it's Chelsea. A trophy is a trophy.
I'm not
What they
denying
have.
that. Denying that.
And it's not like the teams that they're playing aren't foreign teams. They are foreign teams. They could be average in their league, but they are good. Those teams, you can't underrate them by saying, okay, we'll just win it or we just walk over it because we have this presence in the Champions League. We won it 2 times or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't
So
matter.
you are saying it's solely on the coach.
It's at this point, it's still on the coach because the team is developing. If you ship out the old guys and bringing new legs, right? New foot, not necessarily buying new players, developing the current players that you have and say, okay, this team gels with each other.
I
Then they
mean,
can
I
do.
think that's
Remember, the
taking.
Chelsea was in the top three or top two before.
Yeah,
They said, "Oh, they're going to win the league. They're going to win the league," and I said, "Nah, not from Liverpool. Liverpool has this season already from the way they are playing." So
I mean, it wasn't even about Liverpool. If Chelsea had done a good job, they would have stayed in that second place. But here we are.
yeah, I knew they were going to fall off. It wasn't a difficult thing to see.
Anyways, Odogwu, let's hear your perspective. What do you think? Chelsea's problem.
So, so you know, it's harsh when you call it a problem. If you look at it from a business sense, which is different, and you asking that question makes sense that you're a Chelsea fan. Some of the problems, quote unquote, that have happened is unexpected, not even their faults. Um, to even allude to some of the things Ola was saying when you talk of the change in coach, not even just this one, but look at things over time, right? So, yeah, all these things, bits and pieces have their factors. Look at it from Tuchel's perspective, even a good coach. There was a comment I made to you a year or two ago about something Tuchel said about the COVID scheduling. Whether or not you believe what Tuchel said, it affected him as a coach, even as great as Tuchel is. Now go to other reasons. Look at it from transformation. The unfortunate parts, the Abramovich leaving. Whether or not, sometimes those things rebound. So yes, you would see some one step forward, two step backwards. It's natural. And for you as a fan, it pains and it really hurts. It will get better because Chelsea didn't just get into this situation just by their own doing. Some of it was unfortunate and say political quote unquote. They've rebuilt, they have a new forward going on, a new way they operate. Now those things take years like any organization. They've made good moves, but yet even us as football fans have learned new things from COVID schedulings, from new things we learned from managers that we didn't even know that plagued them before, whether it's scheduling, whether it's their players are tired. I heard Pep Guardiola say that a year or two ago. My players are tired in a press conference. I was like, wow, seeing Pep at this level. Back to Chelsea, it's like so. Back to all those things Ola and you have said. It's so much, but let me tell you one thing I can tell you the storm eventually calms down. It gets better. You're a fan, you're a fan, you're there for life.
Yeah.
Think about it from an aging perspective. What Chelsea is going through, other teams are also in that perspective. But at least you can say that Chelsea seems to be surviving it better than Man United to some extent. Case closed.
Exactly.
Fair, fair.
Yeah, good point.
I also think Man United's case is kind of different. I
Agreed too. Agreed.
it's
You
a
remember
little
how I
it's a little
explained the
bottom.
complexity? So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, fair, fair, fair. All right, enough about Chelsea. Let's hope they can make me happy this weekend. Ipswich Arsenal. Who am I giving this on to?
You
Odogwu.
take that.
Eh?
You can take that. I'll take it from
This
Man
is
U.
Oh, you want
come
me
on,
to
this
take
is
it?
easy.
Yeah.
You want me to take it?
Yeah.
I like. I don't
He
even know.
wants he wants to hear your commentary for a reason. This Liverpool fan.
I don't even know. The thing is, here's the thing. I don't know if what's the word I'm looking for? What's the phrase I'm looking for? I don't know if what's the name? Ipswich is playing for anything. I don't know if they're playing for anything, and I want to check that
They are
because I
playing
know
to
they're
be
already.
in the league.
I'm sorry.
They are playing to be in the league.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I mean. I don't know if they're playing. If they can even survive, they can't
exactly.
survive.
They can't technically.
There's no technicality.
Uh,
They can't
no,
survive.
no, no. They are open that they win 3 games in a row. No, they have to win all their games.
Exactly. So either way, they're still in a very discomfortable position. And
So
let
and
me
they
If
know.
it's
Fulham
yours
wins,
actually.
if Fulham draws a game, everybody is relegated.
Basically.
Fulham is up here.
No, West Ham. Sorry, if West
Oh,
Ham drop
West
West
Ham,
one
you
Ham.
mean?
game,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
everybody's out the
exactly,
league.
exactly. So I don't see how what's their name? Ipswich can even care about the game against Arsenal. So on that note, I'm giving it to Arsenal. Easily giving it to Arsenal.
Simple.
I would tell you, it might be as sweet as you say it, but some teams could act crazy, knowing fully well that they don't know when next they're going to be back in the Premier League.
Premier League, yes.
Play
Yeah.
their mind and say, okay, we don't care. We just play it this way, and
We're
sit
gonna
for
need a
draw.
follow up to this conversation.
Yeah, because they almost thought that they were going to win Chelsea the
Yes,
last
they did.
game.
I
They're
mean,
leading.
let's
Yeah.
call it this way. That one was a little bit Chelsea's fault
Yes,
because
agreed.
we had given them the 2 goal lead earlier. And that alone, when that happens, of course you would think you can win. But hey, it happens.
And yeah, it happened. So we are back to the Red Devils versus
No, before
Wolverhampton.
we go to Red Devils, so Ola, I'm saying Arsenal is going to win. I think Odogwu agrees with me.
Yes.
What you are saying, Ipswich can pull an upset.
They could, but Arsenal. I'll tell you, technically, both of the teams are not really fighting for anything in the Premier League because
Arsenal is
except
fighting to retain their second spot.
Mm.
Because if
no, no,
Arsenal
no, no.
Mm.
Arsenal already has that second spot. Let's not deceive ourselves. Arsenal already has it.
Ola, one day I'm going to have to see your fantasy league.
No,
Ola,
Arsenal already.
Look at this. Two
I know
losses
what I'm
and
saying. Yes,
two losses,
Newcastle.
and these guys are all up on them.
I know.
So I disagree.
Newcastle is thinking they are going to get the second position. They are most likely going to be fifth.
Okay, but
Just
the
watch
point
it.
is this: all these are most likelies. I'm showing you what is on paper right now. On paper right now, Arsenal cannot assume they have a second spot because look, they are 4 points.
Yes, I understand. They took the draws because of what? The Champions League. That is their focus right now.
Yeah, but they're
You
still.
can tell. But the Champions League now, the most difficult part of what they plan on the Champions League is over. Next games are not coming on to the next week or two,
But they
right?
still plan for it.
Yeah, I know. They still have to plan for it. So they are
Right.
going to play their players in such a way that they don't want them getting injured. Because any injury to either of those forwards,
Yeah.
let them just count it out. They're out. This is the closest I will tell you Arsenal has as a possibility to win the Champions League. They are not going to do it next season. Just know that for sure. They're
So
not going
you
to
are
do it
saying
next season.
Arsenal's priority is
Yeah.
Champions League
Arsenal's
and-
priority now is their eye is on the Champions League. If they win PSG in their next game, for certain, they will want to win the
But
final.
you also know that the second spot is important to them, so they're not going to
It
just.
really does not matter. We have 5 teams going to the Champions League this year. Second, first, third, fourth, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so you think Arsenal can relax? Okay.
They can relax. They have the opportunity to relax their players and say, okay, we don't have to play our players in such a way they pick up injury because you remember when you are grinding towards the end of the season, you are picking up injuries here and there. Our keeper had concussion. We couldn't play for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
We had to come back finally to play Fulham or what's the name? The team will play this last weekend, West Ham. So nobody wants to play very difficult games or anything like that. So they make sure that they are resting their player for that.
Okay. Fair. All right. So next is Manchester United Wolves, Red Devils. Ola, I want you to take that because you like Manchester United, low key.
I'll tell you, this Manchester United team, I'm not really even sure what they want to do. To be very sincere, I think one of the most detrimental thing that they did was that they had a coach, one single coach for so long.
Yeah.
It was good when he was around.
Yeah.
But immediately they lost him, it felt like the foundation of his build up had crumbled.
Mm.
That's why it's in as much as it is good to have one particular coach that stays consistently and train a team, it is also detrimental for that same team because
When the coach
once
leaves.
a new coach comes in, once a new coach comes in, it is very difficult to now start switching. You have to find a new coach that plays the same way as the old coach. They must adopt the same principle. If they try to play something different, everybody just keeps scattering. So
Okay.
now they have to start from the beginning. So I will tell you, this weekend, just like last weekend, the marks they will get. If they don't, I will say, if they don't play Onana as a keeper, they are losing this game.
If they don't,
If they don't, if they don't play Onana as their keeper, they are losing this game because look at
you
what
think
the last look at what the last keeper did.
that was one game.
I don't care. It
Onana
is
has done
one
that for
game.
7, 8, 9, 20
I
games.
know, but he will not lose as much as 4-1.
I'm not gonna agree with that, but I'm not gonna talk
Yeah.
about
He has a point though.
Dundee.
So what he's trying to basically say, and well, I'm not going to say what he's trying to say. To just deviate from his point and draw my own comparison, it still goes back to the overall whole Manchester United problem, and he's also listing some important technical things that have happened recently. And depending on how you want to argue on this, you can talk about how somebody who's supposed to be an experienced coach
Mhm.
somehow makes a decision to put Onana in that position. Yes, we understand what happened before then and things that even happened in the media and even that Europa League game. But Ola still has a point in terms of even poking to the coach or poking the system of Manchester United. Why this? Why that? And you can argue Manchester United from here to climbing Kilimanjaro, and I'm not sure if you would even feel like you've covered much distance, but the complexity comes from, like you said, the Ferguson era, and then just so much going on. It's like a modern day American corporation. Hire, fire, do this, do that. And it's like you're still expecting to be on top even with the drastic change and the way we use these clutches today. So I know I'm going round and round and I'm picking some parts from what Ola said that I agree on.
Yeah.
Let's not dive too much into Onana, but you can even question the coach whether you want to second guess it or whatever. Why at this stage? People would even tell you, it even seems like some of the messages that stirred up on Twitter even affected his decision making. Let's also not get into that as well. I'm going to just push it back into the Manchester United complexity. So even though they should look like a team that should crush Wolves, yes, he's right. Wolves can actually upset them. I'm going for a draw here in that case, or even a Wolves possibly winning.
Interesting. I did. I'm not even sure I thought about Man U and what the result, what you guys would say, but interesting. Interesting. That's all I would say. All right, Leicester City, Liverpool. I don't even know why we bother to talk about this, but we're gonna do it anyways. For that reason, I'm gonna take it. Leicester City had not scored a goal in about 10 games or so. They finally scored, or maybe 9 games. They finally scored last weekend, which was impressive. I think they scored 2 goals. Impressive. But I don't know. It's still Leicester. I think just like Ipswich, they know they're done also. It's so sad for a former Premier League winner to be in this position. And I think after they lost their owner years ago, I think things have not really been the same since then. His son took over. They're just adjusting and they came back. It's been a roller coaster for them. So I don't think I know Leicester they're gonna get relegated this year. But I think they're gonna come like all last said about Southampton, and Southampton will not come back in 2, 3 years. I think Leicester City will be back soon and hopefully back stronger. But for this game, I don't see them scoring. I don't see them doing anything important. I think Liverpool got this. In fact, anybody facing Liverpool between now and the end of the season should be scared because Liverpool is probably going to win all their games. No. So let's not say too much on Leicester City and Liverpool. That's the first team with one of the bottom teams. So we'll move past that. Spurs, Nottingham Forest. Very, very interesting game. Ola, what do you think?
Nottingham Forest win.
Nottingham
Agreed.
Forest? Just like that? Yeah,
Yes.
Spurs. Do you guys think, two in one question. Do you guys think the issue with Spurs is more of the coach or the players? Just give me the answer straight up. No explanation needed. Coach or players?
The coach.
Odogwu, what do you think?
Yeah, Ang is the problem.
Angie's problem. Do you guys think he ends the season as the coach?
What do you mean? Like as a coach? Yeah, he went the season then be fired.
Yeah, I think they should let him end it because that premature firing sometimes now could pass the problem now on the player psychologically. So
So you
let him
think
end it.
he
Yeah.
gets fired in the summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
The Nottingham Forest win. I'm gonna switch to the other side and say not only because this is what I want, but I also think Spurs actually play well, reasonably well against top teams. You guys can go look at the record. They step up when the team is like in the bottom, up top 6, top 7. So I think they can upset Nottingham Forest, and I think this game is going to be a draw.
They beat Nottingham Forest beat them very well this season.
Yeah, I know.
And to your point, this season they didn't do that much of the upsetting of the top 6 like they would do historically or in the last at
But
least
this
3
season,
years.
they still did it this season.
They tried. No, we
They
won
tried,
them.
bro. Yeah.
You remember? You forgotten the 6-3.
I would say they will try. They will try it again with Nottingham Forest, and that's why I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying they're going to draw. That's just my prediction, and I'm hoping for that too because Nottingham Forest, we need to drag them down. So Chelsea needs a spot in that top 5. All right, 2 games to go. City, Aston Villa, Odogwu. That's your team. Let's go.
Don't crucify me for my answer here. Yes, okay. Let's talk about this. Aston Villa is on the tails. They're chasing. They've been coming up. They're part of the competitive zone that we spoke about earlier. I think you mentioned 3 to 8.
Yeah.
Now, although I'm going for City, City have to watch their backs because this is also a team that wants it. So if Pep Guardiola doesn't take the right pill in the morning or just something goes wrong and he doesn't believe in the formula that was blessed in training and he does something else on the lineup or the starting, who knows? Anything else can happen. But me as a City fan, I'm going for City. Pep Guardiola is trying to turn this around and get the best he can and proceed next season. Yes.
Okay. So you're saying City wins.
Yes.
All right. Arsenal Crystal Palace, the final game of game week 33. Hola, what do you say?
Arsenal wins.
Arsenal wins easily.
Yeah, Arsenal wins.
Crystal Palace sometimes they know how to step up.
Yeah, they could try to get a draw, but Arsenal wins. Arsenal wins the game.
Okay. Hey,
I'm surprised that Ola is not even dubbing Crystal Palace to do a little upset, just the same way he dubbed
The reason why I said that,
Ipswich,
the reason why I said that is this.
in this case.
Look at the distance between this game and the next one they are going to play coming up. Arsenal will play Ipswich after having played Real Madrid back.
The champion,
right?
yeah, I see.
They're all up. They get tired, so they're not going to do the same thing. They want to put more of their strength on the Crystal Palace game and try to win. This game coming up, they're not trying to convince anyone. They want to win, but end up finding themselves drawing or not making it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was good. All right. If you stayed with us this far, as Ayo used to say, thank you. We appreciate you. Remember to subscribe, like, share. Comment also. Comment.
Yes.
We would like to engage.
We need some critical analysis.
Yes, we want to hear it. All right, Odogwu, thank you for blessing with your presence. Ola, as usual, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, always. And that will be it for the night. Thank you.